여러분 안녕하세요. 오늘의 아영입니다.
On June 6, 2023, the Korean beauty influencer Byeon was found dead in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. Her body was wrapped in a red cloth and dumped in a ditch at the side of the road. A few days after the incident, a Chinese couple were arrested under the suspicion of killing her. The two only admitted to dumping the body and refused to comment or confess whether they were a part of her death or not. This was a simple murder case, right? Wrong. The Cambodian police were unable to provide any definitive reports of her autopsy. Thus, the precise cause of death cannot be determined. What truly happened to Byeon before she died? Will the suspects be captured and taken to justice? Or will the truth be fully submerged in the incompetence of the justice system? My name is Stephen Lee, and welcome to the case of Byeon. Before we start, please consider subscribing. It was the early morning of Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. The city had just started to awaken from its slumber as the day workers began their busy lives. A security guard had been walking around the construction zone of a residential area, a typical habit for his profession. He thought today was just a boring old day, one that would be quickly forgotten because of how habitual it was. Or so he thought. As he passed a shallow ditch near the construction site, something red caught his eye. Due to the boredom and curiosity, he went and had a closer look. It was a red mat that was tossed carelessly at the bottom of a ditch. The mat was tightly tied by metal wires and was half submerged in water. The security guard walked closer and slowly examined the mat. He even propped it up and realized how heavy it was. As he let loose the wires and unrolled the mat, a sight made him jump backwards in fear. It was jet black hair. The mat toppled over and rolled open. It was the corpse of a woman. She was wearing nothing but her undergarments, and she was covered head to toe with bruises and cuts. Frantically, the security guard called the police. Law enforcement quickly arrived and cordoned off the streets. Preliminary judgments dictated that this woman was in the early ages of 30. She was not Cambodian but rather East Asian and had many injuries to her body. The victim seemingly endured a heavy beating prior to her death. The sight of her face was especially disheartening, as beneath the bruising and bruises, she was quite beautiful in nature. After bringing her body back to the police station, police were able to identify her as the popular beauty streamer Byeon. Byeon was just 24 when she started broadcasting on Africa TV. These type of content creators will be referred to as BJ, and don't get the wrong idea, it's a shortened form of broadcast jockey, as a play-on word for disc jockey or DJ, basically equivalent to a Twitch streamer. And you know how popular pretty girls can get on those platforms. She also operates a YouTube channel and an Instagram page, and because of her outstanding appearance and personality, she has over 200,000 followers on Instagram. Many will ask, why did Byeon travel to Cambodia? Cambodia is definitely not the safest place for a tourist to travel to. Violent crime, such as sexual assault and homicide, are common. In March of 2023, Byeon left a small message in a post on Instagram detailing why she was taking a break. The contents of the updates are as follows. I have retired from being a BJ. I'm going to live like an ordinary person for a while. I will be traveling back to Korea and uploading videos of my life on YouTube. Just think of this as Ayeon's thoughts. And as always, I like communication. Please be brave and DM me, and I will try to read all of them. Although I'll ignore the weird messages, haha. This starts Ayeon's new life as an ordinary person. A few days after this announcement, Byeon stopped live streaming and went to Cambodia alone. She posted several updates on social media, but went completely radio silent afterwards, when no one was expecting that in just 2 months after the disappearance of Byeon, fans would be hearing about their beloved live streamer passing away. Back in Cambodia, police were in a frantic rush to search for more clues. As for an influencer with 200,000 followers, this may gain global attention if it breaks out. Based on Byeon's immigration records, police found her residency in Phnom Penh. It was listed as a high-end apartment owned by one of her friends who she was staying at. Police subsequently located Byeon's friend and her husband and taken them in for questioning. At the same time, police were able to retrieve surveillance footage from the apartment. This footage was taken on June 4th, 2023 at 3:57 p.m., 2 days prior to when Byeon's body was found. Byeon can be seen coming out of the apartment alone. Initially, the police thought that the couple that Byeon was staying as had the highest possibility of being suspects, but this was later disproven as they stayed the entire night in their own homes, evident by their lack of appearance on the security footage. Byeon, being alone in a remote and unfamiliar land, did not have the courage to rent out a place alone. Her friend welcomed her in with open arms when Byeon requested to stay at her place. During the day that Byeon left, She had not mentioned to her friends why exactly she was going out, so the couples were equally shocked to hear of her death. So just as a personal side note, there was not any missing person reports made by these couple. Let's just think about that for a minute, alright? If we're in the position of Byeon's friend, if your friend, and to emphasize, this was a woman whose appearance really stands out from the crowd, is gone missing and has not come home for like 2 days. Hello? 911? Maybe you should call the emergency line or something. It's just really odd that their friends didn't do anything about this. With no leads from the couple, the police directed their attention on the surveillance footage captured near where Byeon's body was found. Surveillance video displayed on the evening of June 4th captured a blue car that appeared in the crime scene numerous amount of times. This appearance had raised many suspicion. By checking vehicle registration, they quickly located the owners of the cars. 30-year-old Mr. Lai and 39-year-old Miss Tsai. The full names of these couple were not disclosed to the public. Upon further investigation, police discovered that these couple ran a private clinic in Phnom Penh, but they did not have the proper license to do so. This was an illegal business that treated patients with a mixture of traditional and Western medicine, pediatrics, minor surgery, dermatology, acupuncture, and more. The police retrieved the surveillance footage from around the clinic and discovered something truly shocking. On June 4th, at around 4:14 p.m., Byeon can be seen walking into this clinic. At 5:52 p.m., the clinic door suddenly closes and the lights inside turn off, signaling that the store was closed. Nearly 2 hours have passed and Byeon still hasn't come out of the clinic yet. This raises a lot of questions. Why did the store close suddenly? And where was Byeon? Upon further investigation, the police learned that there was only one entrance to this clinic, meaning that it was impossible for Byeon to leave anywhere else. That night, at around 12:52 a.m., the same blue car that appeared near the crime scene appeared at the garage door of that clinic. It backs in and leaves 30 minutes later. Because the car was parked in a blind spot of their surveillance, there was no way to see what exactly was happening during this 30 minutes, but we can definitely assume the worst. With these blatant evidence, the Cambodia police were able to arrest the couple. They were taken into the police station for questioning. The two had came to Cambodia half a year ago from Jiangxi, China. They did not bring much money and had to save as they go to get by. The reason for opening this clinic was that Miss Tsai had a family history of being Chinese medicine practitioners and understood the basics of medical skills. To sustain their living and make a few extra cash, the two decided to open the clinic illegally, saving money on proper licensing. Mr. Lai used to be a traffic policeman back in China and had no knowledge of medicine. He would learn simple techniques from his wife. The clinic had just been open for 3 months, and coincidentally, Miss Tsai had given birth to a newborn a few months ago, so the clinic and most of the patients were under the care of Mr. Lai. The police raided the clinic and discovered that it wasn't much of a clinic at all. There was no area of reception and there were no doctor's office. The couple did not have proper qualifications, so many of the equipments were not treated under proper regulation. According to the people living around the clinic, it didn't have much customers because of its sketchy nature. Back at the police station, Lai spoke about what happened that day. Lai claimed that he was the only one attending the clinic that day, as his wife was home with the newborn. Byeon had entered the clinic and told Lai that she was feeling unwell. She had requested a type of medicine that was illegal to Cambodia, so Lai rejected her but did not want to lose customer. He suggested her another type of drug called albumin. Albumin is a type of protein that is synthesized naturally in the liver and helps keep fluid from leaking out your blood vessels and other tissues. This is commonly used to treat or prevent shock following serious injury, bleeding, surgery, or burns by increasing the volume of blood plasma. However, this would be later put into question as if Lai really gave her a shot of albumin. The last transaction ever made by Byeon was 5 USD. Albumin is typically much more expensive, with the cost of a 5% 500 milliliter infusion being almost $150. It is suspected that Lai only gave Byeon a normal IV drip bag. Perhaps it was due to the lack of medical knowledge. Not only does this not make Byeon feel any better, she started convulsing and foaming at the mouth. Not knowing what to do, Lai tried to resuscitate Byeon by using various types of different drugs, but it was no use. After a few minutes, she lost all sign of life. Lai decided that it was best to dispose the body because they were new to Cambodia. Having somebody die in their shop is terrible for reputation, and on top they were practicing medical illegally. The consequences would be too much to handle. Lai would admit to abandoning the body, but not admit to having anything to do with her death. He firmly believes that she died from a natural cause and that she walking into his clinic was just a stroke of bad luck. He is also adamant that his wife did not know anything about this and should not be held for consequences. However, surveillance footage would show that it was Tsai who left the clinic first. She would return to the clinic hours later. What this means is that Tsai would have been in the clinic during the incident with Byeon. Obviously, Cambodia police doubted Mr. Lai's statement. If Byeon had a sudden illness that struck, how would it explain the visible injuries that were found on her dead body? Byeon's autopsy results were in. But I want to clarify something beforehand. This autopsy result is simply an examination of her outer appearance. Because Cambodia is a relatively underdeveloped country, they lack the necessary techniques and technical equipment to conduct a thorough report. According to the autopsy report, Byeon's head was swollen and was suspected to have been beaten prior to her death. She was not wearing garments on her upper body, and the underwear she was wearing on her lower body was worn backwards. Judging from this, she is likely suspected to have been sexually assaulted before death. Unfortunately, due to the lack of proper equipment, her exact cause of death is unknown and cannot be determined. Lai would firmly deny all sexual assault charges, stating, "I did not do that in any way. If you guys suspect something, why not conduct a DNA test?" As if they had the proper equipment. At the same time, police discovered a surveillance clip which showed that Byeon had came to this clinic prior. On the day before the incident, June 3rd, when asked about this revelation, Lai said that Byeon simply came into his clinic for a headache. She merely lied down on the hospital bed for a few minutes and left. The authenticity of this statement was questionable, and the Cambodia police once again denied his response. They believed that Byeon had came to this clinic simply because it offered illegal drug injections. The police believed that she came in the first day and did not get the high she wanted. On her second time appearance, Lai began to have devious thoughts and committed something horrible. In the process, he killed Byeon and disposed her body. The results of this rough investigation was broadcasted to the nation, but was met with strong opposition from media and both sides of the families. On the third day of the incident, Lai's sister traveled from China to Cambodia. She insisted that her brother was wrong, claiming that Lai had always been a shy individual and couldn't possibly have the ability to commit such a horrible crime. Byeon's family and friends also came to Cambodia and voiced their concerns. They strongly denied that Byeon had any habits of using illegal drugs. She was the type of girl who was quiet and would never try any extreme activities. Later, with the strong request of Byeon's family, a drug test was performed on Byeon's body. The results of this test confirmed that there was no illegal substance in her bloodstream. To this day, Byeon's cause of death is still a mystery to the public. It may be due to the incompetence of Cambodia police or the lack of technical equipment. But even with the accusation of Lai sexually assaulting Byeon, the police never bothered to go through with any testing, and no reason were given as of why. As a result, loads of rumors are seen flowing through the internet. Why did Byeon go to such a small clinic ran by Chinese people in a sketchy neighborhood? How did Byeon receive all those injuries if Lai only claimed that she died from natural sources? Byeon's fans have all been saddened by this case, some even coming to Cambodia to bid their farewell. Now, these cases are not uncommon. In April of 2023, the popular Chinese internet celebrity, Li Ya, with 8 million followers on TikTok, was tricked by her friends to traveling to Southeast Asia. She was kidnapped and her whereabouts are currently unknown. But leaked videos of her getting beaten were posted on the internet, and it was said that her family was given a ransom of $800,000, but nothing followed through. I might do a video on that, let me know in the comments below. Back to the case of Byeon, the Chinese couples are now facing trial and is likely going to be imprisoned for life. Without definitive proof, this case may stay as it is. What are your thoughts about this case? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to the channel. And also leave a like to the video. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. I have you guys' name like right here in the next video. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.